does mean, though, is you need to know that.
Right.
So you need to be paranoid of what I'm doing in my base. Oh my god. And then play to that, basically.
So there's the sentry.
Oh man.
What'd I miss?
Random Guardian Shield.
Sweet. Sounds like it's definitely the off season.
Huh.
Oh, you're gonna walk right past an overlord. And here we are, at that point in the game where I don't know what the fuck I'm supposed to do. pretty obnoxious time for you to push.
Well, that's exactly why I'm doing it.
Part of me wants to push up and push your third, but I don't really think I have enough. So let me ask, this feels like about the time you're going to be having your first couple Colossus pop out.
Yep.
I'm not ready yet. God, you have so much shit. GG.
Good game, sir.
So, I mean, it's hopeless against that.
Well, I think I've lost like 4 ZvP games since I got back from Korea.
Well,
Okay, so let's host that replay real quick. Go ahead and pause at 0, put the speed on ×4.
I was supposed to be the 5th, though.
And we'll clean this up.
Alright. I'm paused at 2 seconds on ×4.
So before we start, a couple things I want to go into consideration with. Did you take your third as you pushed out with Burrow Roach?
Yeah, maybe a second or two late, but it was on time. I felt.
It needs, yeah. In cross-map positions, this is different from close air or even close positions. It needs to be greedy as hell.
Yeah.
So basically, the second you take Burrow, at that point it should be fairly clear to you, and if it isn't, then you failed in your scouting, that I'm not doing some kind of zany 4-gate
Right.
If I'm doing a 6-gate timing, it's not going to get there until after Burrow finishes. So you need to abuse that in cross-map positions. And that's true with any map like Lost Temple, Metalopolis, hopefully some bigger maps to be named later down the road, please, Blizzard. But then even other maps like Jungle Basin, which has a little bit of a distance between the two, you have to abuse that. If you don't abuse that, then the economic sacrifices you're making by getting slower gas and then slower burrow/roach speed to your unit composition means that you're ineffectively attacking with no recourse. It's not giving you an advantage, basically.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm completely unprepared for burrow, meaning I have no sentries, no observers, and no forge, somehow, if I've reached the level where I'm playing you and I'm doing that, then yeah, you're in a great position. But you'd never want to roll the dice to the cosmos and say, I hope for a bad Protoss.
Yeah.
So your attack was fine, and we'll talk about it when we get to it, but it needs to be on the heels of a greedy as hell expansion. Because I'm not, as a Protoss, if I see you're going roaches, I'm going to get immortals out and observers, especially with burrow. And if at that same time you are greedily switching to hydras, you need to make the next transition, which is a greedy fourth. Because I can't attack hydras. I'm just not going to do it. I don't care if I have 35 sentries. They're gonna tear me apart. Unless I have Colossus, at which point in time I tear you apart. So then you need Corruptors. And that's got to be the awkward dance that we do. So let's go ahead and hit play now.
All right. Yeah, I guess my third, I felt like I could have put it down sooner. I was waiting for Burrow to finish. I don't know, I was just really sticking to that timing for some reason.
And that's like a ladder mentality. I mean, that's the safest thing to do. You're absolutely right. And if you're better than your opponent, that's the right decision to make. But if you're as good or worse than your opponent, then playing it super safe like that, basically preparing for the worst in every turn you take, is going to hurt your play. You're not going to be as good of a player. Yep, you slide right past that zealot. This is good, just getting absolute information. You can almost rule out 4-gate just by virtue of map positioning, but of course that's not a rule that all Protoss adhere to. So it's not safe to operate on that level. Like right now, I would be taking your, like pretty close to now, I'd be taking your third.
Yeah.
And that's greedy as hell. But you've powered up drones. You've got good intel. You've got the Zelnaga towers. You're seeing nothing coming. Good Overlord spread. Okay, you just saw me move around. It's like a bajillion sentries and 2 stalkers. That's not an attacking army. Yep, see this money you're floating right here? Hovering around 500 minerals?
Yeah. And now the drone will go, hopefully soon. Anytime now.
Yep, and your money's actually getting higher and higher and higher.
There it goes.
That's actually really promising to me, though, because it probably felt like you just never had enough units. That's part of the reason. Okay, so that's not the full story. So you pushed up here, lost a few units for free. That's okay, I still like the move. Now let's go ahead and pause here. So at 11 minutes and 20 seconds, you do have the Hydra Den down. You are hurting for gas, you got high minerals. So part of that's because you did wait a little bit too long to take the gases at your natural. There needs to be a bit of an equilibrium, and if we were to rewind this, I don't necessarily think we need to. But you've always been kind of floating 500, 600 minerals while still maintaining like 100 or sub 100 gas.
Yeah, I felt that way the whole game.
Yeah, there always has to be a fight to create an equilibrium there. If there's ever a drastic disparity, it's not because this game doesn't have its economy figured out, it's you. Okay, so just make sure you're fighting to balance that. So a couple nuanced little macro points early. The things you're doing really